Hello badminton fans and welcome to Badminton Racket Review, and today we are testing an Oliver Omex 800 badminton racket. So I don't know how much familiarity there is out there with Oliver. Certainly we've not been very familiar with Oliver. Oliver, if you look at the availability and pricing of some of these rackets, I do feel like they're a new brand who are trying to make headway in the marketplace. And since we're talking about availability, the primary sellers of Oliver are Oliver themselves. We may be selling some of the Oliver rackets on our racket sales site, which is www.badminton-racket-review.com. There is a link below, but we're not sure yet. We're still talking to Oliver because the availability needs to increase, and that's why primarily our racket sales site was set up, so that brands that are not available easily in Europe and in the UK do become easily available. So onto this racket. Well, if you've seen the review of the Oliver Epsilon X12, you will know that Oliver don't like to put absolutely anything whatsoever. I mean whatsoever. There's Li-Ning who are minimal in what they put on their rackets. These guys are zero. I know, Oliver, you've watched our other videos. Just saying, some information would be very handy, because otherwise what you're actually saying is you want somebody to walk into a shop or go online, look at what you have on your racket page for the Omex 800, which I'm looking at right now, and apart from telling us that it has 40 tons of HMP and Epsilon, which we don't know what that is. Sorry, it says here it's a process for producing a fabric for pre-impregnated and hot melt bonded carbon fibers with a very high strength in a low weight. Great, that sounds good, but what would also be handy is what tension can it be strung to? That would also be handy. It does tell you on the website, however, the weight, the balance and the shaft stiffness. So let's go on to that. So according to Oliver, the weight of this racket is 92 grams, and according to our own E-zone testing, this racket weighs in at 93.2, which is pretty close, to be honest. The balance point of this racket is slightly head heavy according to Oliver, and from our testing is very head heavy. The flex on the shaft, they have this down as a stiff shaft, and we have this down as a medium flex, and I've got to say I agree with our recording, that feels medium flex to me. Okay, so I've spoken to you about availability. What I didn't speak to you about was the price. The price of this racket is £125 in the UK. I just think that's difficult territory in terms of price. £125 is, we tested some of the Adidas rackets recently, which are pretty capable. We tested the King K9 also in that category, some of the Astrox rackets, Voltric rackets. I mean, it's a big area, that £100 to £125 mark. You know, there's the Jet Speeds, there's the Hyper Nanos from Victor, you know, some of the Aeronauts from Li-Ning. There's a lot in that price category, so to stick a brand new racket in that price category, I think, is a risky move. Now, in terms of design, this one is actually fairly plain. What I will say is, there's not much for me to comment on in terms of the design. It's mostly text. There is very little graphic work on this racket. There is some luminous where it says 800, and on the inside of the head, which you can probably see here, it says Oliver. Nothing wrong with the quality of the racket. It seems very sturdy, very well built. Paint job is first class. Everything is very clear to read, but take a look at these close-up videos, images yourself, and see what you think of the design. Okay, specifications are done. Let's go to the E-zone. Okay, so before we start our E-zone testing, what do you need to know about how we test our rackets? Well, first of all, we use the same shuttles, the Omex AS30s on all tests. We re-string all of the rackets with Omex BG65 at 25 pounds tension, and it's the same player taking all of the shots. Right, now you have some basic understanding of how we test. Let's move on to the smash test. The smash shot that you're seeing here, and for all of the rackets we've tested within Badminton Racket Reviews E-zone, we take generally 6 shots. We take the 2 highest racket shuttle speeds, and we average those to give us a overall speed. If those two readings are not within a certain percentage of each other, we then retake the entire test. This shot measures the shuttle speed coming off the racket head, and also if you go across to the E-zone, you'll see a picture similar to the one you're looking at on the screen now, which accompanies every single racket within the E-zone. So that's nearly 650 or more rackets, with this kind of smash JPEG showing you the racket head speed, the shuttle speed, the distance, and the approximate repulsion of the racket. Okay, now we're going to do an E-zone maneuver test. The maneuver shots was designed to tell us about the racket's acceleration abilities, its ability to shift from one direction to the other or shift quickly from nothing to full speed. It also tests the racket's aerodynamics. In this test, the player is sitting still with the racket, and once the shuttle is fired, we measure the shuttle speed to ensure we have consistency within the tests, so it's coming at the same speed all the time, or roughly the same speed as much as we can control anyway. And then the player reacts once the shuttle is fired to hit the shuttle, and we are measuring the head speed of the racket during that test. Okay, so they're done. Now it's E-zone control test time. The control test is a simplistic test. We've thought many times if there was any other better way of creating a test where we are focusing on the control of the racket and able to score it, and we so far haven't come up with anything better. So this control test is essentially a test where we have 14 shots taken. You're not seeing all the shots on the control video. We generally film half or less of the shots taken. The green bucket here scores maximum, the grey scores slightly less, and anything in the net or out scores nothing at all. Okay, so that's all of the E-zone testing done. So what do we make of this Oliver Omex 800 racket? Well, given the overall weight of it, I didn't have very high expectations, because generally speaking, heavy rackets aren't my personal cup of tea. I believe that the technology in manufacturing has moved so far forward now that so many of the lighter weight rackets are just as capable as the heavier ones. Going back a decade or so, that wasn't the case. Everyone believed that the heavy rackets, the stiff rackets, were the way to go. But everything we've done in terms of testing, everything we've tried, has not proved that to be the case. So I wasn't expecting too much from this racket. But what I would say is, again, like the Eplon, it defies the odds when it comes to its abilities compared to its specs. So 93 gram racket, medium flex, head heavy balance, nightmare scenario for me personally. But in using the racket, it actually proved to be easier than expected. Do not confuse what I'm saying here. I could not use this long term. I will definitely get sore shoulders from using that kind of weight. Also is notable, and we really want to get the research done on this so we can publish it to you guys. One of the other things that's notable is when you're using a heavier object to swing it above your arm, you're doing that. Let's just say I take a 10 kilo dumbbell and I've got to walk around with it, turn with it, turn with it, turn with it. It starts to physically exert you. You're like, oh god, you're tired quicker. You take a 2 kilo dumbbell and tie it to your wrist, and you're generally going to last a lot longer and you'll be a lot less tired. It's a similar sort of effect. I mean, that's quite extreme. It's an 8 kilo difference in what I just described, but it's a similar sort of effect over a long period of time. So if you've got a 3-hour session or 2-hour session booked in, you will notice you'll need to get water more frequently, or that you are more tired than you were previously. Now, for those of you who are training every day and are super fit, it doesn't really apply to you guys, and you guys know that. So don't come onto YouTube and give me a load of grief about it. But I'm talking about regular club players, regular people participating in badminton with their friends and family on a once or twice weekly basis. You people are going to feel the weight of the racket in that case scenario. But if you like heavy rackets, this one is actually pretty good. It offers very good. The things it's good at is it offers good control. You do get good smash power off it, and even in other areas where you expect it to be pretty bad, such as drive and defense, and even repulsion, it's not that bad. It's playable. You can actually use this racket. The Astrox 99 3U was, to me, getting close to unusable. This is usable and it's doable. So what is our recommendation? £125 brand that is coming into the market. No one actually knows, but looking at it, feeling it, playing with it, having touched it, I have absolutely no issue in saying that it is made with good quality materials. It's produced to a good level, high standards. So I have no hesitancy in saying that you're not going to have any issue with lasting. Obviously, if you have a huge clash on court and you crack or smash it, I don't think many rackets could withstand that anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. But in terms of overall regular use, will it last? I think it will. So there's no quality issues that we could feel in any respect. In terms of its price mark, it's a high price mark, but this racket does actually perform pretty well. When we compare it to other rackets, now we can't really compare it to the King K9 because it's lighter by some significant difference in weight. We can't compare it to the Astrox 55, that's significantly lighter. So we're now looking at the Astrox 88, 77, 99 3U versions. We're looking at all of that sort of the Adidas Vogt P8, that category of racket that is heavy. From what I can see, this is made primarily for singles players. I would actually say the Eplon feels quicker than this. In the air, the Eplon feels more capable, but this is probably the better all-round racket. All-round. If you're looking for speed, the Eplon is the way to go. If you want something that's quicker in the air, even though it's heavier, the Eplon, 100.9 grams the Eplon. This is 93.2. So this is significantly lighter, but the Epsilon is a very capable racket. I would say that this is worth checking out. You know, it's like, oh my god, I'm not saying this about a 93 gram racket. That's 126 pounds from a brand that nobody knows. Yeah, I am. I actually think that this is worth checking out. I think you are going to be surprised how well it can play. Only try this racket if you can handle heavy rackets. Don't go into looking at this if you've used the Abraj Nano 9900, the Venom, any of the lightweight Apex rackets, the Babolat lightweight rackets, even the Astrox FBs, any of those lighter weight, easier rackets to use. This is a different ball game, but given where it competes in the market, it's actually worth a try. So I'm going to say it's a thumbs up. Now, before I go, if you want the full review, you need to go to the Badminton Racket Review E-Zone. People who know this, or E-Zone members, you can sign off. For people who don't know this, the E-Zone video review is a lot more detailed. This is a quick synopsis of our findings. The E-Zone page is full of information for each racket. That's why it takes us so long to release the videos, because it takes us so long to do the testing. So do go along to the E-Zone, sign in, check a look at some of these rackets. It's very easy to compare rackets on the E-Zone platform, and all of the testing is done exactly in the same way. We're using the same shuttles, same string at the same tension with the same player. I've said that so much I'm getting bored of saying it. If you're not familiar with the E-Zone, however, there is a video going to follow this video. But before I go, as ever, I want to show my appreciation to all of you who tune in. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the feedback. We really appreciate the support. We're really glad that badminton is growing worldwide as a sport. We're really pleased that it's gained so much popularity in so many countries that otherwise it was a third or fourth sport. Now number 2 in certain countries and number 1 in other countries as the major sport played in that country. Awesome, awesome. What a great sport to make your number 1 in your country. Thanks again for the support. Do press the like button and do share the video. Thanks again. See you soon.